Hi, I wanted to show you the kind of therapy we practice at our nonprofit and in my own private practice. Here are actual extracts from online therapy sessions. To preserve client confidentiality and with client consent, I only record my own camera feed and share parts that do not convey identifying information. As a result, you will not see the context, but you will, however, gain an idea for the themes of our therapy, which are connecting to self in awareness and kindness, which leads to genuine power and compassion. I think your area of growth is to allow more softness in your life. Yeah. And by the way, you did, sorry, I'm going to sound like a movie therapist who's judging people. That's not at all my style, but it seems like you did a wonderful job in the last few minutes with that. And emotions are, it's funny because we need both, emotions and strong, executive skills. One to work and, provide a roof over our head, and the other to love and feel loved. And they're both important. Then there's the weight of history and the missed communication that kind of creates distance. But these are things that we can work on, especially if both of you go to the more tender, softer parts, then bridges can be built from there. Do you want a high-level roadmap? I'll give you one. What seems to work in couples therapy with my orientation is to leverage the ability that all of us have, humans. Now, whether we have it online or not is a different issue depending on the circumstances in which we have to operate and survive. But to leverage the intrinsic capacity we have for empathy. And by the way, that is when it's not in there in between the couple, you can get a sense for it with regards to how we feel towards our kids. It's built in our nature of as humans, and so the roadmap is to leverage that, and that usually involves going through. It cannot be done without emotions. No emotions, no empathy. And it's done in softness and letting guard down. So there is some vulnerability involved. And so that's why I was very encouraged when, I don't want to put, thoughts in your head, but it sounds like you felt, comfortable enough to share a little bit of some of your humanity, because it's so important. And it tends to soften everyone in a good way. That's at a high level, the roadmap. And then we can deconstruct specific, what we'll usually do is that we deconstruct some specific incidents, what was said, what meaning was inferred by both parties, and realize that, oh, well, maybe this is not what was actually happening. There's deeper needs for connection, love, appreciation that are at play, and that are so often missed because when these needs, are activated in us, we're either not necessarily aware of them. So part of the work is to bring awareness, which is why I ask you, if you are feeling some sadness and some loneliness. And another part of the work, in addition to, getting some awareness, is to share them in softness, because all too often we tend to share them in the form of anger. I don't know if that's what's happening in your couple, but it's definitely what happens in my couple and all the couples I work with. And that's also is very corrosive. So kind of do some shifts along those lines. I'll give you two elements of answers. One is a little flip, but it's not that flip, but it's not going to be helpful. It's one step at a time. And the other is, with empathy. When empathy is online, there's more creative problem solving, so more solutions come online. There will still be some pain, because if she works a lot, she'll be away. But if it's done, with a different intention and different communication and different mindset, we can alleviate some of the pain that's involved there. You're welcome.